us alive. And we hope that when our time comes, and we are free from our physical form, we have somehow left our residual self in the subconscious of others. Fleeting glimpse that we will never get back. Like tears in the rain, memories are what keeps us alive. And we hope that when our time comes, and we are free from our physical form, we have somehow left our residual self in the subconscious of others.
Olga? You are muted in your stream, by the way. Your stream has not your audio. Everyone else in Discord can be heard. You can't.
Gremlins.
Device.
Technology.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Is it working now?
I can hear you.
Hey!
We could hear you all along. It's just that I think on the stream it was muted, maybe.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, the stream can hear you. Now it works.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Thanks
okay.
for letting me know.
Start again.
I'll go again. I'll go again. I was trying to do the catch-up thing. Thank you so much. I've lost my plot now. As I said, it'll only ever go wrong right when you go live. So quick catch up. Last week's stream, we tried out the Caspian in comparison to the Mandalay, and we nipped across to SAG A on the stream. That took about an hour and a half, which was quite a surprise because it was so good. After last week's stream, I nipped over to Colonia and did some engineering to see if I could squeeze out a little bit more from the Caspian, which I did manage to do. And then I've nipped back to waypoint, what are we on? Waypoint 12, I think now. Tonight, I'm joined by some incredible guests, incredible people, and I will hand over to them to introduce themselves if that's possible. So, who'd like to go first? Commander Greaves, I suppose we should start with you, really. Top of the leaderboard and all that.
All right. I'm Greaves. I'm a big racing fan on Elite. Not for that long, but it's been a lot of fun. And I do the weekly Rendezvous Rally races on the FleetCom server. And I create a few time trials as well. On the waypoints in the expedition.
Part of putting those together, which must be quite a lot of work, I would imagine, but we'll come on to that later, I'm sure. We're also joined by Commander Loish, 99.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm also one of the racers of the DB3. Yeah, I'm also only racing basically since the Disney World 3 started. Before that, I didn't really race. So yeah.
It was all new.
And
How many years have you guys been playing, just out of interest?
I've been playing... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go.
I started playing in 2014.
Okay.
A few gaming buddies got excited about the resurgence of the space sim with Chris Roberts doing Star Citizen and David Braber doing Elite.
Fantastic.
And I've been dipping in and out ever since. I took some long breaks. I think I mainly got back into it in 2023, so I had to catch up on a lot of stuff like Fleet Carriers and Horizon Odyssey and all that.
Cool, thank you very much. Loish, 99, how long have you been playing?
Very similar time frame, also started back in 2014, like at the end of 2014. And yeah, I've been playing since then with some breaks, of course, some larger ones. And yeah, I've also played basically since the last, actively since like a year now, active.
Fantastic. We're also joined by VR247, but I'm not sure whether he can hear us.
I can. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you. And thank you, VR247. Yeah, please introduce yourself and tell us how many years you've been playing.
Commander VR247. I have been playing since the very beginning of the game. I got in really because Elite was one of the few games that offered official VR support back then. Most of the stuff was little demos and executables that we were running, and really have never looked back. There's almost been nothing else that compares in my mind. It just checks all the boxes. So I've been playing for years and years, and I did take a small break midst the Thargoid invasion, but came back stronger than ever and joined up with people and have really gotten into stuff like the time trials have really captured my attention over the course of the last 9 months or so. I started to get into those just last summer around the time of the Drakir Rally. So it's been fun to join up with the racers and make new friends in the game. And of course, DW3 has really been quite the racing experience for us.
It's been stunning, hasn't it? Thank you so much. We're also joined by Commander Alec Turner, who has just appeared. How are you, Alec? Hello.
Hi.
We're just doing introductions, Alec. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and
Cool. Yeah. What we're doing, like how long we've been playing the game, and all that.
Yeah,
kind of
all
jazz.
that.
Yeah.
It'll go on to other things in a minute, I'm sure.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. Yeah. So I've been playing since the game came out, or just slightly before. So I think I bought it in the November before it came out. I'm an original BBC Micro Elite
1984.
So,
But you sound so young. I don't believe it.
Yeah. It's, gene therapy or something. I don't know.
It might
Playing
be
video games. Playing video games all my life. I think it keeps me young.
It might be related to those seed pods on that planet.
Well, yeah, definitely. Except we're all stuck on DW3, so.
Well, I nipped back for that, but that's another story.
Yeah, I love the word "nip" in relation to going back from DW3. But yeah, so I've been playing like forever, really, and I've done loads. I mean, I've sort of been racing since the very beginning. So, about a few months after I joined, so it was in the first couple of months of the game, I guess. There was a guy called Electric Z who ran these things called Buckyball runs.
Yep.
And I really like the idea. It's sort of based on cannonball runs, and he had a really good way with words, and he did these forum posts that kind of set the scene, and they were basically multi-system races where you'd start at a station and race to a station in another system and a third and a fourth and back to the beginning kind of thing, and then send him screenshots of your run. So I've been doing that since the very beginning, and then he did like a dozen of those and then left the game. And a bunch of us formed the Buckyball Racing Club to keep doing that, which we've been running sort of ever since, and I guess I've been pretty sort of prominent in that. And then the Elite Racers, I sort of found out about them and got into doing live racing, and then of course Razzafrag developed Time Trial Racing 3D Copilot, which things have just sort of exploded from there, really, because that's what we were doing in Buckyball effectively, was time trial racing, except it was an awful lot of manual effort, because everyone had to submit loads of screenshots or videos, and somebody had to check them all and get the timings from them, so it was a huge amount of work. Obviously.
You've also given us a fantastic segue, because there is, of course, one special guest who we've not introduced yet. Commander Razzafrag, please introduce yourself as well. Hello.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm Razzafrag, if people haven't heard of me. I'm the author of EdCopter. I've been playing the game just over 8 years. I think I picked it up in 2018 when I retired early. And with want of nothing better to do, decided I would develop an app to make playing in VR better. And that's how we ended up with EdCopter today, 8 years later, and many, many hours of coding and swearing. And here we are.
Is that swearing at people who ask you for features?
Oh, well, both. There's days you're like, oh no, not that one again. But no, it's great. I love the community. I mean, I was an Elite player back in the 80s as well. I was a Spectrum and then a Commodore 64, and then I went to the Amiga with Frontier, and then I bought this around 2016, 2017. But because I was busy working, I never really got into it. And then when I had time on my hands, then it just sort of sucked me in, and no looking back since then. I don't think I've played any other game for more than like 20 hours since I got into Elite Dangerous.
Amazing. I think that's a really interesting thing as well. I'd love to ask all of you your experiences of One of the questions I have, I guess, is one of the things I'm interested in is what keeps you playing. Now, obviously, racing, Alec. Everything is a race, I believe, for you, Alec.
It does seem like that.
I've listened to you on Lave Radio. It does seem that you can turn anything into a race. But if we go from Commander Greaves again, what is it that keeps playing? Why do you keep playing Elite?
Well, when I got back into it in 2023, I was really looking to do a little trading. So I joined the Pilots Trade Network, hung around that community for a bit, did the booze cruise. Don't know if you guys have heard of that. That was a lot of fun.
By all means, tell the people about it, because we do get people who've not played before, of course.
Right, the boost cruise is basically, it's one of the top ways to make credits in Elite. Like, there's this system way up above the galactic plane. It's got a station called Rackham's Peak, and once a month for a couple of days, it's buying alcohol for extreme credits. So what they do is they'll load up like more than 100 carriers full of wine in the bubble. Then when the event goes live, they get all of those carriers up there. People can hop onto the carriers, and then they can sell the wine at Rackham's Peak and make billions. And a lot of people get their first fleet carrier that way, just from selling wine over there. I got mine that way as well.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, it's a lot of fun because it's like a few days of just community mayhem. Everybody going up there and selling wine and making lots of credits. It's quite fun.
Fantastic. So what is it that keeps you going then? Because you've been in it a while, and obviously racing is, you are currently, I believe, we'll have a look at leaderboards, but I'm pretty sure you're at the top of the leaderboard for the Rendezvous rallies in the buggy. But what is it that keeps you going with Elite?
For now, it's definitely racing, yeah. After I've dabbled in a lot of stuff, and ultimately racing now, I think, is the thing that I've landed on that is going to keep me logging in every week and just trying the time trials.
Fantastic, thank you. Loish, how about yourself? What is it that keeps you coming back for more?
That's a difficult question. I mean, I've played Elite very actively till 2020. Till then, there was all larger exploration, and that was basically end of Distant Worlds 2. After that, I had like a 2-year break. Then I came back also around 2023. And since then, I've basically fought the Targoids, done some, like, played with other people in open. It's like, finally played Odyssey, how it was meant to be played, and not the buggy mess it was when it came out. Like, all the, like, there's so much you can do. And, like, I just have fun. It's a very relaxing game. There is nothing, like, there is no timer ticking down. I mean, in the ways, of course. But, like, other than that, you can just, it's a very relaxing game. Like, if I want to start a game on the evening where I just, like, want to have a chill time, I usually start up Elite.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you. And VR247, I mean, do you always play in VR? I've got to ask.
Well, to be truthful, not 24/7, but it is kind of the reason why I'm still here playing Elite. I have a big fondness for VR in general. It's just something I've always wanted to do since I was a kid, is inhabit the game I was playing.
Yeah.
And Elite is just absolutely special in that you've got this persistent universe and all your hard work remains here, and there's real consequences. But, above all that, it's just the very best space flight simulator, and especially in VR. I still just keep finding new little places. There's vast amounts of knowledge about the game that I still don't have, and that I'm learning from other people.
Yeah.
And that really keeps it fresh to realize after 10 years of pottering about in the SRV that there's better ways. And, even after, studying it for 9 months or something like that, I'm still so far to go to catch up with some of the guys.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, absolutely love it. And as everybody else is going to say too, the time trials have been a brilliant addition to our gameplay loops, and they've really given us a chance to put our fingerprints on the game in a way that otherwise wasn't going to be possible.
I think that's the
and it's not
fantastic.
just about our fingerprints, but just the fact that we can we can build something for the community and let them have it.
Yeah, and I was about to say that
amazing.
the sense of community and the effort and work that all of you have put in is just staggering, really. As well as the Distant Worlds crew, as well as all the community events. I was listening to Distant Worlds podcast from the other night, and they were talking about the elite meeting.
I was last night. I was listening to that.
Yeah, and that was fascinating as well for charity. And I'd kind of seen the event, and I was like, oh, I'd like to go to that, but I was like, I don't really know what it is. And the guy that was on there just explained it so beautifully. But there's so much community effort and spirit into all of these things. It is quite staggering. I had no experience of the community before Distant Worlds 3 because I played on console in solo. It was a bit like you, Loish. It was my relaxation, to be honest. Thank you so much.
The community is amazing, isn't it? Like this sort of infinite creativity and expertise around the community. It's amazing what they do.
It is absolutely stunning. I suppose that brings us nicely onto you, Alec. What keeps you in the game?
So, yeah, I've been trying. I'm sort of lost.
You're regretting it now, aren't you?
And I still don't have a good one. It sort of goes beyond racing. Like I really like just existing in the game. I like video games, but like basically all other video games, you kind of either finish them, or I find I get bored of them. Warcraft was probably the only other game beyond this where I spent years playing it, but Elite, I just sort of never get bored of basically existing. The flight, and that's the flight model.
The flight model,
and I think it's like the Proc Gen Galaxy. The combination of those two gives you a sort of a place to exist that's got infinite variety and is stunningly beautiful. And you can spend all day taking screenshots or making videos or that kind of thing.
It still is. I was saying at the rally as well, like for a 2014 game, this looks staggeringly beautiful.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really does look fantastic. It's like people talk about a forever game, and I think I'm committed now. I think I have to admit it's kind of my forever game. I just ask myself what I want to do today, and it's like I wouldn't mind playing a bit of Elite. It's basically the same answer every day. I just love it. I love the way all the vehicles, not just like SRV or racing, but they just have such a nice feel, and I like all the things to do. I like navigating and deploying landing gear and requesting docking permission and all that, and the sound just kind of makes all that feel very real. I don't know, I just like existing. And the thing is that you do get a little bit bored of some of the game loops in Elite, and that's where racing comes in, because I never get bored of racing, because there's always new challenges, and it's skill based. It's not, you're not just collecting numbers.
Yeah, definitely. I was chatting to a friend of mine today who came over to play paint Warhammer figures, because that's how much of a nerd I am. But he's been playing No Man's Sky, and I was like, yeah, it's all right. It's a little bit crayon coloured and kind of it's all right. But then I was trying to explain about this, and it's really hard to explain to someone who hasn't played it. And of course, the other thing is it's because it's a learning cliff. Some people probably give up before they give it a go, if that kind of makes sense. But thank you so much. Razzafrag, Commander Razzafrag.
Yeah.
I think what keeps you playing is the fact that you just get lots of demands for coding now.
Yeah, it's a bit of both, actually. There's a social thing for me as well. So like my buddy who I went to college with in the UK and we fly together for 2 hours a day, six times a week. So we spend 12 hours online together, just jabbering around like old women and exploring stuff in the game. So we have quite a hoot with that. That's our sort of social get together. And then on top of that, I have a Copilot app, of course, to maintain and look at bugs, and the rest of the community that sort of really embraced it. And I have a great little community on Discord. People are always in there.
Yeah.
It's great. No, it's for me. It's more of a social outlet than it is a job. You know what I mean? So it's great. Yeah, love it.
That's fantastic. I love the. I mean, it's the second time we've spoken on the stream, isn't it, Razzafrag? And your commitment to the community again is just staggering, absolutely staggering. How did Alec? You've mentioned you played on You played on a BBC. Was it a BBC Model B? Did you play?
Yeah, it was,
Snap. Yeah, you're like myself. I think Razzafrag was slightly later. Didn't you say a Commodore 64?
It was a Spectrum at first, and then a Commodore 64. Yeah.
He's a split.
I couldn't afford a BBC back then.
Splitter.
Luxury.
Well, they were, and my dad was a teacher, so teachers got a subsidy. So that's how we got ours. But I loved playing it. But
I didn't realise actually. It's funny. I look back and somebody had done like I sort of figured the computer I've got now and some of the hardware. You know, I've got a joystick and I did get a VR headset. You look at it and think, what a ludicrous amount of money to spend on a video game. But then actually somebody did the conversion of what a BBC Micro is effectively worth in today's money, and it's not dissimilar to a high-end gaming PC. It was a lot. It's quite surprising.
Right.
And it was I think it was quite a groundbreaking thing at the time. I understand that the descendants of the chip that were in the BBC ended up in everyone's mobile phones. Is my basic understanding of it. Yeah, which is incredible, really, isn't it? But yeah, I'm gonna try and throw up on the screen the various leaderboards. Commander Greaves, you put me on to a new website, but I just need to fiddle with the OBS to get it up. So by all means, chat amongst yourselves while I try and do that, because I've only got 3 brain cells, so this will occupy one of them definitely.
Yeah, it's a Commander Vladigor who's he's one of the racers on Distant Worlds 3, and he's basically been working for the last, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, almost non-stop on this new website. It's got a crazy amount of features already. Like, it started as just basically a leaderboard where you could fill in your commander name and your system, and then it would kind of direct you to the nearest system at the time trial you haven't done yet, or one you could improve on the most. But since then, he's added so many features to it, like stats and what else has he added? Hang on, I should probably open it as well.
He's going a bit crazy with it.
Yeah, anything you can think of, like I like, as well as stats, it's got things like recommendations. A really nice one is showing you which race you stand the best chance of making a difference in your position. You know, I suppose where it can look across the whole leaderboard and go, well, if you go and do this race, you've got the best chance of climbing up a few places because you're only 1.2 seconds behind or stuff like that, which is really nice.
I really like how there's a whole suite of apps that have grown up around just the time trials. I mean, we've got that. There's two other websites. We've got Duck's Visualizer that lets you see how your race was run, and I think he's got a new analyzer one as well right now, which tells you about how often you were at a certain speed ratio as well.
Oh, amazing!
So they're really using the stats that the thing spits out, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, and there's Duck's leaderboard site, which I still use because it's got that lovely sort of indication of the sort of the use of colours to show you which race has got recent activity. I still like.
Yeah, I like that too. Just to quickly see how busy are they as well. Which is great.
And then there's the Stardust Brothers site as well, which is frinkbottle.uk/time trials, and that was like the first really that collated all your time trials and showed. He's done beautiful maps for all the bubble, like really nicely illustrated maps of all the time trials. Which
the amount of tools that's growing around the racing that has just begun with the Distant Worlds is like awesome. How quickly the tools are growing, or like how quickly it's getting more and more fleshed out.
Yeah.
Racing in general is really blown up with Distant Worlds 3.
Yeah, when we started time trials, there was only about a dozen people, Alec, that really did them. And then I offered for 2 years running. I actually did a competition, so that anyone that raced the time trial would go into a lottery. We did a live sort of pick of the commanders. And the first year they won 1 billion credits. The second year they won 2 billion credits.
Yeah.
That pulled in more. I think that pulled in about 100 in the end on the second year. On the 2 billion got us 100 racers, right?
I'm so glad you raised that, Razzafrag, because I've got a question actually with all these folks here that I really want to ask. Like, I'm fascinated. Like, it feels like even with Buckyball and like 10 years of Buckyball races, I feel like I've been shouting to every social media platform I can think of, come and do this. It's really good fun. You know, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit. Lave Radio. I've just been banging on about racing for like years. It feels like, and I'd sort of become sort of accepted the fact that I was never going to get more than a dozen people to turn up. You know, I'm always reading people going, "Oh, I wish there was racing in Elite," and you go, "There is. We've been doing it for 10 years." And like, but you only ever get like, and then suddenly it's just exploded. And I'm curious, like, for a bunch of you guys that are here tonight, like, did you just not know that we were doing racing, or is it the kind of captive audience nature of Distant Worlds 3 what's kind of made you do racing now, where it has kind of been going on for 10 years?
Was it going? Sorry.
Sorry, Coach.
No, you go. Sorry.
Right. Well, from what I can say, I've joined a couple of communities over the last couple of years, and I think racing is just too niche, maybe, to be kind of widely talked about. Like, I had to go and Google to find any kind of racing community to be aware of that. You know, that there even was a racing community. And yeah, I do think it's just because Distant Worlds 3 already had such a captive audience that it became a big thing.
I don't know what happened on console. Did it work on console?
No.
Well, that's
not
why.
ED Copilot.
Well, no, I know ED Copilot didn't, but I meant racing. But I that's probably why I wasn't involved.
Well, I tell you what, it did actually. So we how did this come about? So this was Buckyball Racing, and somebody, and I can't remember who. This was back when console was still running. Made quite a lot of fuss and said, could we have separate leaderboards for the console? You could do it on console. You only needed screenshots. That's the way Buckyball Racing worked. And they made quite a lot of fuss and said, could we do a separate leaderboard? I can't remember why, but they felt they were at a disadvantage because maybe they didn't have the tools or they didn't have the joystick, whatever. So we eventually acquiesced and did a separate leaderboard, and it never had anyone on it. It had like one person. Like nobody on the console was racing until we went to load effort. And
that's the kind of racing I need, though, because I'm. I mean, from my point of view, I didn't know it existed. If I'm honest, Alec, I wasn't. Yeah. I was a very, very casual Elite player on console for 9 years, and I didn't really engage with the community. I'd heard that there was a community. I think I'd been on the Facebook forum. Which is not always the best representation of the community, if I'm honest.
I think it's really interesting. Like you were talking about ECM last night and how you didn't really understand what it was. And I think there's this thing where when you're on the inside, like, and I suppose, I don't know why, but I've just ended up being on the inside of quite a lot of things like Lave Radio, and I've been to a load of, ECMs, and it feels like that's the whole player community, and you think surely everyone knows about this. Surely everyone knows about Buckyball and Elite Racers and ECM and PitCon, and I think when you're on the inside, that's how it feels, and you sort of forget that there's still 90% of the players are on the outside and have never heard of you, and have never heard of any of this.
Absolutely, and it's difficult, isn't it? When, like you say, when you're on the inside, how do you get the message out? For me, though, the thing that changed it for me was Distant Worlds 3. Now, Distant Worlds 3 has been full of firsts for me. I've done so many first things, just like VR247 was saying. You keep finding new things. What I realised when I started doing the live stream and doing Distant Worlds 3 is that I knew nothing. After 9 years of playing the game, I realised I knew absolutely nothing.
It does be like that sometimes, doesn't it? I used to find myself doing a lot of fliving just sort of from my own learned techniques. I suppose it comes from the days of Horizons where we were hunting down little rocks to shoot and materials to gather, and some of the Guardian sites for sure, where you're just flying between artifacts and gathering things. And so I had a little bit of that skill set, but I really hadn't grasped all the things, and I was still at that stage like everybody else where SRV flight is a frustrating experience until you get a handful of techniques in your pocket.
Yeah, I really suck at it, to be honest. but I enjoy it, and it's been great. And I think Loish and I were talking before the stream about the fact that the great thing with the time trials, you're competing against yourself, so you don't need to be the first person there.
Absolutely.
You still there, Loish?
Yeah, I'm still here. I mean, for me, with the races, I was vaguely aware, like, I heard Buckyball races. I mean, Distant Worlds 2, I think there were a couple of races. I think there were some Buckyball races back then. Oh.
You're about to go into orbit.
So, but after Distant Worlds 2, I had like a downtime where I stopped playing, and I think in that time I forgot about that a racing community existed. Or like, yeah, I completely forgot till Distant Worlds 3 started. And with the rovers flying, I think, I don't know how many years ago it was way before Odyssey. I saw a video on YouTube of someone managing to fly an SRB into orbit.
Yeah.
And the moment I saw, I don't know who that was, but from that point on, I basically started training and learning how to do that, because I was like, you must be kidding me. The physics are intact, the physics are good enough that you can actually go into a planetary orbit with an SRB.
Oh.
In theory, you can go in an orbit. If you get the correct speed, you can just go around the planet all around the world.
It's brilliant that stuff just works. They can't possibly, like the developers can't possibly have envisaged, I don't think, that people would do that.
Yeah.
So it's so awesome that the physics just works.
Yeah. And at the beginning, the easiest planet to do that with, I think it's Triton in Sol. That one has like the lowest gravity of all planets in the league. That's where I tried it first, and after a couple of days, after you understand how the bouncing works, and that's what I learned there, how that works. After that, like for exobiology, for collecting materials, for just having fun on a planet. Yeah. And now, for some reason, racing makes the skill surprisingly useful.
Definitely. Fantastic. I suppose we should have a little bit of understanding, because I have no understanding about how you put this together. What I mean by that is that this venue is amazing. The fact that you go over these mountains and you see another planet with rings around it, it's just incredible. A lot of the planets have been amazing. The ice crater dive planet was insane. How on earth do you go about putting these races together, whether ship races or buggy races? How does that work?
So I think everybody has a different approach to what they're trying to achieve with the time trials. For me, the goal of Distant Worlds 3 has really been to showcase whatever is the highlight of the waypoint. So generally, on any given waypoint, I'll try and look at, like, why is this a waypoint? You know, what are we looking at? And then I'll try to incorporate that into the time trial, which I've semi-succeeded here, because the rings are just dipping up again now. The planet should be visible again in a few hours, I think. But yeah, that's been my main goal, is to combine racing, a bit of SRV wrangling with looking at nice views.
So do you scout ahead of the Distant Worlds fleet, or do you just get here early, or how does that work? Because obviously you've got a bit of a deadline. You've got to get it ready for the what day are we on? Saturdays.
Saturday, yeah. On Sunday night, usually they present the next waypoint, and then generally on Monday or on Tuesday we'll get there. Then we'll just look at often we'll look at base camp first and see if that's viable for any races. Okay. If not, then personally I just want to have like a nice looking race, so maybe I'll go to another planet, or maybe I'll stick to the base camp one. But yeah, usually I get there on Tuesday or Monday, look around a bit, and then I think the main difficulty for me is actually not making the time trial, but trying to predict if, like, in 3-4 days time the spot is going to be in the light during the event, and if the actual view is going to be appearing that's like over the horizon.
Well, maybe that's an EdCopter feature that Razzafrag can build in.
It's quite hard, actually. Alec, you're a master of that, right? Of trying to get in
it is
tidally
incredibly
locked
hard.
planets. Yeah.
Yeah, it is incredibly hard. I keep saying this, and it's genuinely true. Like if Frontier could add one feature to the game, and people talk about ship interiors and this and that. For me, honestly, partly because I think it's doable, it would be that when you look at a body in the system map, and it does show part of each planet in the system map is in daylight and part of it is in night. That bears no relation to current reality, and that annoys me, because if I'm going to do a mission, suppose I'm going to go and raid a base or something, I'd much rather it was in the daylight. And you pick bases that are in the daylight in the system map, and you go there and they're pitch black, and that really irritates me. It's like, just get the synchronization right. And then beyond that, if you imagine there being a slight, like with the planet that you've got on screen now, if you imagine there being a slider underneath that with maybe today at the left, and you can just slide the time forward to next week, next Saturday, or Saturday in a month's time, to just predict for events like this what the day-night situation will be like. That would be amazing.
It would be very helpful.
There's no easy way to do it programmatically. We've tried.
No, we can't do it. I don't think the community can do it.
No. You would have to take observations in each system, I think, and work out, because there's a certain time, isn't there, that you have to base the rotation of all the planets from.
Yeah,
but you'd have to know when that was.
Yeah, the only thing you can really do, which I've done a bit of back in the bubble, and I think when we all get back, and we definitely want to start making more time trials back in the bubble, is you can try and find planets that have more or less perma-day locations.
Right.
And they kind of basically have to be tidally locked main bodies, because even a moon that's tidally locked to its parent isn't, it's not guaranteed any kind of constant daylight. But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it would be nice if we were able to bang in the name of a system and a body and coordinates, and it will say whether it's in the light or not. That would be excellent. One day, dream list.
Well, we'll come on to dream lists later, won't we? that's another thing. And do you? How does it work with new features? And because I'm quite aware from our conversation previously with Razzafrag that you guys have asked for features for the racing scene that have been implemented. So I know Razzafrag's implemented the personal best into the thing and stuff. How did you guys kind of coordinate and work on that?
Generally, we just bother Razzafrag about it.
Yeah. I was going to say initially, even before Distant Worlds 3, like when Razzafrag first put the feature in, and I think I was, so keen on it, and then. So there were all sorts of little things that we wanted, wasn't it? I mean, obviously, being able to do races on foot. Do we even have SRV races to start with? I can't remember.
SRV races were the first ones. I did the video of an SRV giving you directions around, and then at the end it had the time.
Yeah.
Your first ask was, can I have the minibar with the timer on it running and the directions on it? So that was the first. That was the big thing. Bane of my existence, that minibar. But,
wow, we won't talk about the minibar, will we, Razzafrag? We're not going to talk about the minibar.
Because a certain streamer can't get his to work for some reason. I don't know why. It just refuses half the time. It's very pedantic on his PC.
Somebody messed up the code.
so yeah, that was the first one, and then I go out of my way to try and make it better all the time, right? And if people come up with good suggestions, I'm like, oh yeah, I like that, let's do that, right? The personal best one was something I actually had in mind from day one. So when I was recording all of the races, for every race that has ever been run in time trials, it's always stored all of the checkpoint times as you're going through each waypoint for every person that's ever raced it. But I only got around to actually implementing personal best on the display a couple of months ago. Right, so it's just a case of getting around to it. I mean, time trials sucks up a lot of my time, more than any of the other features that are in EdCopter. So people will be asking me, "Oh, can you do this? Can you do that?" And I'll be like, "Okay, we've just done a whole bunch of time trial stuff. I've really got to go and work on something else right now because I owe some other users that are doing, like exobiology, or they're doing combat. I keep saying I'm going to fix these things, but I always end up back at time trials trying to fix stuff. Yeah, so it does suck up a lot of my time at the moment, but I do love it, so it's great. It works for me.
We enjoy being your favorites.
There you go.
Shouldn't have favourites, should you? Talking about favourites. So the other thought I had about the stream was perhaps, and this is a bit dodgy. This is a bit personal, perhaps, but the other thought I had was perhaps looking at helping people go better. In a previous stream with Razzafrag, we were kind of talking about the time trials, and Razzafrag mentioned that maybe the buggies aren't that popular, and I kind of asked why, and he said, well, because they're hard, and they are hard. I find them incredibly hard, but without giving your top secrets away, although Commander Greaves, you've got a YouTube channel, you're putting your fast runs up there, but there's an awful lot of skill involved in that. I don't think it's about a tip, but what I thought we could do is what I thought we could do was maybe have a go at this time trial. I can put EdCopilot on my screen, but not the minibar. We won't talk about that. I say that. I think she's. Oh, she's gone. She's vanished. EdCopilot. Why has she gone? I've lost EdCopilot. She shut herself down. I'll start her back up. But
that's because you were badmouthing now.
She's listening.
Oh my God, she's it's like being married. EdCopilot is like being married. You'll have to let me boot EdCopilot back up again now. It only ever plays up on stream though. The rest of the time it's absolutely perfect.
Pilot main process.
Camera
Please
shy.
stand by.
No, I don't think so. Some of the profanity she comes out with. But so what I wonder whether we could do is have a go at this time trial, and Commander Greaves, please go at your full speed, because I'm sure you'll be able to go at your full speed and tell us how to go better. But obviously, don't give your secrets away. That would be.
Oh, there are no secrets really. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
There's really no
That's
secrets.
also the
I'm just trying to think
frustration
about
of it
secrets.
is everyone knows how you're supposed to do it. But it's actually
There
doing
is
it.
no
It's
there
really
is no
hard.
secret sauce. Everyone is
That's right.
pretty sure everyone is sharing their secrets pretty openly.
I was just hoping that there was some way of doing it, because this time trial, my best time is 30 minutes. And Commander Greaves, what is your current time? Thank you very much for your help with that.
6:11, I believe.
6:11. There we go. 6:11. You horrible, horrible man.
I had one attempt, Greaves. I had one attempt this afternoon in the live event, and I had an absolute nightmare. I hit one of those rocks that you expect is going to be nice and soft,
Oh god.
curved, and it ends up the shadows reveal themselves at the very last minute, and you suddenly realise it's like a brick, and it goes clunk, and you go shooting off at 90 degrees to your original direction.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was all over from there. So that's my only attempt so far.
At least you only hit one of them. I hit all of them.
I mean,
If only they would remove the rocks after you hit them.
oh yeah,
Clean out
that
the
would
field.
be awesome. I mean, looking at the leaderboard, Greaves 6 minutes 11, and then the second person is almost twice that.
Yeah, but I think because I did blow up like 3 SRVs trying to get that first time on the board.
How often did you run it?
Well, I ran it maybe because actually I went through quite a few iterations on this one in the alpha stage. So I only ran this one like I think twice in the alpha just to make sure everything worked. Then I uploaded it, and then I ran it about 3 more times after, and then I blew up every time. And then on the 4th one, I managed to get the good run on.
I just need to fuel up. So before a race, I've noticed, Commander Greaves, on your stream, I've noticed that you put your right panel on this screen, the restock refuel screen. So I've been doing that just because I've noticed you doing that.
Yeah, you
No, you can
pre-select it
pre-
because if you close that panel now.
Yeah, you can't get back to. You've got to go back through the menus, haven't you?
No, that's the thing. If you just close the panel now, if you go back to just looking forwards, and then you go back to the panel again, you'll find your cursor is just sitting over SRV repair, waiting for you to just like it's one button press to go ka-chunk repair. So you don't have to navigate all those tabs to get back to it.
Yeah. That in itself, I think, is a top tip.
About to hit a rock.
Sorry?
While you're flying through the air about to hit a rock, you can hit the repair button much quicker.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So my handbrake's on. For those of you that are new to time trials, I suppose we better just say you can use EdCopter. You go to Places, you go to Time Trials, and you go to select your time trial. There's a little play button in the top right. You will have seen me do it on the screen just a minute ago. And it will select your time trial and direct you to the place you need to start. There's two things that I've cocked up with that Razzafrag has shouted at me for. One is being on the wrong planet. There's now an icon that tells you when you're on the wrong planet. It's a planet type icon. And the other one is the handbrake thing. So what some people have, I came across it in the Discord. So someone had tried to do the time trial, put the handbrake on to start. They let the handbrake off, and they wanted to restart the time trial. To do that, you just reselect it, just repress play. It'll direct you back in, and then it'll direct you to the coordinates once you're in orbital cruise. But I think it's important to mention that, because if someone's watching this in the future and they come to it. That was kind of stuff that confused me when I kind of started, but there we go. So so we'll have a go at this. It's quite an easy route in a way, isn't it? It's just between them two. What are they?
Well,
hills.
It's a bit it looks easy, but it's actually not.
Well, no, sorry. What I should have said is the direction is easy because the waypoints are quite far apart. So the next waypoint is at 37.7 kilometers, which is a huge distance to do in 6 minutes 11 seconds, Commander Greaves. So I'll see you in about half an hour. We'll count down. What do you want?
Hang on, before you set off, there are a couple of little tips. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Make sure you got drive assist turned off.
Yep, I have. Yep.
Good. I mean, that's a good one. So for people that don't know, drive assist works like cruise control. And if you imagine going out in your car to go racing with cruise control turned on, you're not going to do very well. So, yeah. And obviously 4 pips to engines.
4 pips to engines, yeah. Although sometimes I throw 4 pips to shields just because I'm scared. But
No, you don't have to, because shields actually are completely ineffective against terrain.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
They
I blew up on one of them. I think it was the second race. And somebody caught me on camera blowing up. It was great.
Actually, I do have another tip that people might find useful. So there are 3 grades of repair synthesis.
Yes, there are.
If you're going to do a course like this one, perhaps that is going to be a bit rough, you're going to take quite a lot of big impacts. If you do the highest grade of synthesis, assuming you have the materials to spare, you will get a lot further. And not only that, but a cool little thing doesn't work so much here, I suppose. But if you've used the highest grade of synthesis, and let's suppose you finish the race or you decide to abandon it because your race is just going very badly, if you recall the ship and board the ship and then get out again, it will repair you back to 100% at the highest grade still. It'll keep the grade you've got. If you use synthesis, it'll put you back down to whichever grade you use. So if you've used the highest grade of synthesis, and suppose you knock your hull down to 75%, you decide to top it back up again. If you top it back up with the basic grade, you lose all your lovely high grade synthesis. So.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask that actually. Is that the same for fuel?
I can't remember. What are the different grades of fuel?
There's three grades of fuel. So premium gives you. It's more. Yeah, it just lasts longer, so it doesn't make you go faster.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, fuel does replenish when you go on the ship.
Yeah, exactly. You have to actually dock.
The hull repair gets reset when you dock on a station, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So, I've heard from a lot of people that the premium repair supposedly gets reset when you go on a station, but as long as you don't dock, you keep the free premium.
Yeah.
Cool. So, shall we go for this then? Shall we do a 3, 2, 1 and go? Is that appropriate for everyone? Are you all happy?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Alec, are you solo? Or
I literally cannot talk and drive, so I'm not sat with my hair.
Well, that's very good.
I'm just here to talk. If you notice on Lave, I never play Elite when I'm doing Lave.
Well,
radio.
the thing is, Alec, my best time's 30 minutes. You can hang at the back with me and we'll just chat. It's
I think
fine.
it works because Alec. I think out of all of us, Alec is by far the most experienced SRV racer anyway. So maybe he can give you some tips while I'm like trying to focus on racing.
Yeah, Alec can coach you. He'll
Yeah,
be your personal
before
coach.
DW3 I was, but I can see myself. You know, you lot are going to get back to the bubble, and I'm going to be sliding down all those lovely leaderboards right at the top.
Also,
I'm
Alec,
definitely feeling these days like I used to be a contender.
It's an age thing.
Yeah, right.
Fantastic. Right then. 3, 2, 1, go.
Here we go.
I have a question. So obviously you fly the buggy if you can. So I just spin round all the time, really. But
Someone just banged into me.
I think it was me. Sorry, Razzafrag. My question about flying the buggy isn't so much about flying the buggy. It's about landing the buggy. So I've noticed that some commanders land on their front right or front left wheel. And does that help or not?
No, dead level.
Dead level.
As level as you can. Certainly left right. Certainly as far as roll is concerned, as level as you can to the thing you're going to hit.
Right. Yeah. So if you're on an upslope of a hill, you want to hit that level. The reason
so if you're going to hit a slope that's at 45 degrees, then you want to be at
45 degrees.
Yeah.
The reason I asked that is because I noticed some people bouncing. So when they're landing, they're bouncing, and I wondered whether landing on your front wheels was helping people bounce. That's all.
There are different opinions on this. My view is that you definitely don't want to land on your back wheels.
No, I've done that quite a lot.
I kind of feel like the ideal is to land more or less level. But generally, I think people sort of say front wheels first. Do I do front wheels first? I suppose I do a little bit, but it's so subtle.
What I feel is if you land on the front wheels a bit more leaning forward, sometimes you tend to bounce off even if you're on flat ground. So on flat ground, that looked painful. That one looked painful, Greaves.
All right, onward.
There is something weird, actually. There is something slightly weird in that if you land 100% level, so your pitch is 0, dead on 0, something slightly odd happens, and the SRV kind of doesn't bounce at all, and it sort of sticks to the ground. And so I suppose you want to avoid that because you do want to bounce. You want altitude.
Yeah, and I suppose that's why I asked the question. And the other thing I was going to ask is there any way to stop the damn thing spinning?
There's ways to control whether it starts or not.
Okay, give me those.
So I'm by no means an expert on that subject, but probably the top tip that I've heard or that I employ is basically trying to line up the SRV as well as you can with the direction your momentum is carrying you, so that you don't shoot off to one side or the other when you land. And secondly, I generally race with my throttle at full, so my wheels are always spinning. I will sometimes, especially if I feel like I'm a little out of control, I'll just tap the handbrake, even with the pedal to the metal. Tap the handbrake before you hit that flat ground. Flat ground's the worst, and that sometimes helps.
Okay. Because I think that's the biggest frustration I have, and probably other people too. To be fair, is the I mean, 6 wheels. I don't know what they were thinking. It's just it's crazy.
Yeah, I think they were thinking we wouldn't be driving at 200 miles an hour.
So now this is the other question. So I listened to yourself, Alec. I think it was possibly Lave Radio, and you really did open my eyes, because I had no idea what you could do with an SRV in terms of bouncing it to speed. And I don't think I still understand it really, because like now I've just spun, so I never seem to keep the momentum. But am I right in saying that if you hit the ground fast and then bounce and boost, you go faster when you hit the ground again?
Yeah, theoretically there's no limit. So if you can bounce cleanly and then carry on pointing forwards, then I mean the time you're in contact with the ground is momentary. It's literally a bounce, and you're back up again. So you're in contact with the ground for less than a second each time. So although that does reduce your speed a little bit, the amount you can accumulate by tilting forwards and boosting while you're in the air is a lot. I mean, I don't know, you can, the first bounce, maybe you can get up to 40, the second bounce you can get up to 70, 80, and then 100, and then 150. There's no limit. You can just keep going and going. I've actually got a thing on the forum called the Patch Day Challenge. So sometimes when Frontier are patching the game, the little training scenarios are still accessible.
Right.
And there's an SRV training scenario. So what's interesting about that is that you have no synthesis. You can't. You've got no materials, but you have a planet and an SRV. So the challenge is basically how fast can you get your SRV going, basically before you blow up, because you've got no repair synthesis. And I think Sker has managed to bounce the training scenario SRV into orbit doing about 2,000 meters a second.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, there's no limit.
There's no limit. Yeah. I mean, last waypoint, I think I ended up with like 880 meters per second and went into orbit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just struggled.
I think you made yourself to be the first Distant Worlds 3 member to go into orbit in SRV.
Yeah. But it is consistency. Is the deal, Golga Funkin? That's the trick. The trick is just consistency.
I consistently hit rocks and spin round, so I'm very consistent. I'm assuming that Commander Greaves is already at the end of this race. Is that?
He's halfway.
5 kilometers in front
Never
of me.
mind.
Did you guys hear that?
He was.
Oh no! Really?
He was halfway.
Oh, I'm quite pleased now.
Quite please.
That'll serve him right.
And the funny thing is, though, I don't really know why I exploded in this, because it looked like a pretty clean bounce. But there it is.
That's how they get you.
I think.
Yep.
I think there's something nice about that, though, because I don't mean nice that you exploded Commander Greaves. That's never nice. But I think for viewers, it's nice to know that pros make mistakes, right? And
Oh yeah, I mean, this is most runs. This happens most runs.
So-
that fucking 6-minute 11. That's like a fucking. You have to really try to get that.
So I was going to ask you actually. So to get your times that you get, which are astounding, by the way, they're truly astounding. I spent one of the Rendezvous Rally driving the whole thing with Razzafrag, just going, how did Greaves do this in 3 minutes or whatever it was? It was like 27 kilometers. But but how long do you spend on a time trial to get to get your line and to get the time that you're looking for, I guess?
It generally really depends. Like, because most of the time trials I'm doing with the Rendezvous Rally are basically straight line runs. They're just like long distance, and in this case, the terrain is a little bit varied, so you have to pick a line. But overall, I think this, like, if you train driving the SRV a lot, it just carries over, and it doesn't always take a very long time to get a good run. You just need. It depends. Like, sometimes it takes 10 tries, sometimes it takes 2 tries just to get a good run on it.
Yeah, I was going to say that. But sometimes, like at this waypoint, the descent. Oh, that's weird.
Oh, I just exploded.
Yeah.
What are you all doing? What's going on? You're supposed to be the experts at this.
So, sorry to interrupt, but I think this is interesting, and maybe somebody will learn something from this. So, first of all, thank you, Lewis. I came back down in order to join this SRV race with you guys because I was in my Viper, which doesn't have SRVs in it, and I came back in such a hurry I didn't realize I didn't have any SRV bays in my Cobra because it was in racing mode. So I got out on foot. I ran over to Lewis's Anaconda, which I figured I could since he's on my team. I jumped in. He had an extra SRV, which I've just destroyed. I'm very sorry. And the reason it's destroyed might amuse us, because when you're in somebody else's SRV, apparently you don't have access to synthesis, which I just discovered
Oh,
a moment
That makes
ago.
sense.
wow.
That
Live
is-
science.
There you go.
Now we know.
Sorry, Lewis, you're down one more SRV, bub.
Oh, no worry.
Is the panel not there, or are there just no materials to do
There's
anything?
it's just blank, so you can't initiate it.
Yes.
Interesting.
Want to give it another shot?
I'm coming back.
I got one
Yep,
more.
I'm coming
And
back
I
now.
got two more, but only one more.
Oh, I just
Scarab.
realized. Yeah, I need to go and reload. That's fine, I'll do that.
I'll tell you what,
Respawn
though.
is a bit painful, isn't it? So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I think the fighter races the last couple of weeks have been very popular. Because you haven't got to go all the way back to, go pick up a new SRV. You can actually just wait for your fighter to reconstruct itself and off you go again, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, the SLF races have been a revelation, I think, on this Phoenix 3 ever since you put them in.
No risk for the people wanting to do races. Like, they can do it with explorer data and everything, keeping them, and there's no risk. Also, there's no downtime when they die, or like nearly no downtime.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks again for your efforts on that, Raz. That
Yeah,
came
that's
at
great.
the
been
Good
amazing,
timing.
yeah.
perfect time.
And one of my favorite things about it is the same as with SRV racing, is there's no difference in engineering or anything. Like, everybody's on equal footing.
Ooh,
Because everybody's
yes.
by the same SLFs.
I'm in a world of hurt.
Yeah, I'm watching the stream. Obviously, there's a lag, and I'm looking for sort of advice that I can give.
I need to put night vision on. That's the advice.
Yeah.
Can't see a thing.
Yeah, it's pretty dark. It has gotten pretty dark.
I ended up on the wrong. I was trying to stay up on the top of that, and so the first run I did of this, I was going to ask Commander Greaves and you, Alex, because I thought you might know. It felt the first run that I did, the planet was very visible, like really, really visible, on the right hand side of that big drop off this hill, not the side I'm on now, the other side. Does that planet's gravity have an effect? Because it didn't seem to matter what I did, I was getting dragged down it.
No, I don't think so. I think, and I'll let Greaves can say what he thinks, but I feel like there's a lot of the same with day-night. Some people swear that it handles differently in the daylight and in the nighttime. I don't think it does.
No, you can just
I think
see,
it's
so you
that-
go faster. Yeah,
It's like that confirmation bias thing.
Yeah.
You do have good days and bad days. You have
sure.
days when you can't do anything wrong, and it just you have these beautiful runs, and you have
Yeah.
days where you just hit every single fucking rock.
Yep, that's
And
me.
you just can't seem to do anything about it.
That sounds like my whole racing career.
Yeah, and me.
I've
Yeah, it's the runs where you don't hit anything that really seem special.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's never happened, so I don't know. But
Stick with it. You'll get some lucky ones in there, and you won't believe it. You get two amazing bounces in a row, and somehow
and away you go.
you'll never get them again.
Yeah,
I was going to say on that thing of how many times do you do a run to get a good time. There is some luck. Like, I would say the mountain descent course here has a certain amount of luck, because you want to go from very fast to sort of stopping almost immediately, so you can get out and touch the lucky rock. And getting those top times, like trying to get sub 2 minutes, somebody's just going to get lucky. And there's no real answer to that except just keep doing it again and again and again and
It's
again
just
and
luck
again.
at some point.
Yeah.
I have found. I suppose for me, like I say, I'm still a casual player. I casually play. Time is limited, I guess. And one of the weird things, I suppose the other thing I wanted to ask you guys is what do you think about Distant Worlds 3? How's it been for you? And what have you particularly enjoyed or found challenging? Because for me, one of the reasons I haven't done lots of runs of the times trials is purely because I've felt that I had to keep up with the fleet and keep going and do all that.
Yep. Well, I guess I'll start. I think I famously said initially, kind of looking forward to taking a break and actually doing some exploring for once, since I don't do that very much in the game. And after kind of a feverish pace at the end of 2025 of putting out time trials and building out my colony races, we kind of came on this journey thinking like, I think I'll actually be an explorer on this one, and it's absolutely not happened.
No.
It's been 100% racing. I'm just week in, week out. Every moment is either scouting, building, retesting, trying to learn other people's races, trying to get to the different events that we put on, and I couldn't be happier, frankly. It's been like the most intense participation in Elite that I've ever been involved in at any level, and couldn't be happier.
That's fantastic. How about yourself, Loish? You've gone very quiet.
You know-
Are you concentrating, or is it?
No, I'm not concentrating at all. I'm not very good at this course. I can't manage to get decent times like, Alec, don't, no wait, VR, don't die, please.
Who saw that?
I have you targeted, I saw that.
Is he
No,
trashing another one of your buggies?
It's
he's
a
currently
Caspian this
killing
time,
his
but yes.
Originally, I planned to do a lot of mainly exploring on the Distant Worlds 3, but then after the first couple of races, I started to be like, the races are so much fun that I'm currently racing more than I'm actually exploring.
Yeah.
Which is like, considering that's the main part of the Distant Worlds expedition. But yeah, no, they are just very fun with all the people. So I have been basically now said I'm not gonna spend a lot of time exploring, and I'm just sitting on the carrier sometime like under the week while I don't have a lot of time, and then on the weekend I just race and try to catch up with the crazy times people like Greaves and VR put up, or Chim on the ship side.
Yeah, the ship racing. I've enjoyed some of the ship racing very much. I kind of dream of being able to do it in mostly flight assist off. Not because I want to get a good time.
That's not a key anymore.
No, it's just because I want to do it. Just because on Distant Worlds for me, I've been trying to do flight assist off. Like I've been trying to learn it, and that's been a big thing for me. Very much enjoyed flying flight assist off, especially on planets. Strangely.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Same. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you mainly fly flight assist off, Alec?
No, I don't. Not at all. But things like particularly scouting for exobiology in the ship. I just love just floating. You could just kind of float across the planet. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great kind of, I won't say feeling, because I don't have that rig that guy's got in the States, where he's got like 6 degrees of freedom simulator. It's unreal. I can't remember the guy's name.
SimStar.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. I don't have anything like that. I got a chair. It does rotate a little bit. But yeah, so flight assist off for me has been really good fun. So I'd just like to be able to get round a course with flight assist off just to do it, if that makes sense. Personal challenge. But I'm really bad at the ship racing, but I've enjoyed the ship racing. Commander Razzafrag put me in his ship launch fighter, and I discovered I can't fly that and talk on a stream. It's totally impossible, absolutely impossible. So we gave up on that. But it was nice to see the ship launch fighter feature in EdCopter. And is that quite a new one? Is that a new?
Yeah, I think that went in about 4 weeks ago. So after Distant Worlds had started, there was sort of more of a pushing need to put it in. So I knuckled down and added that, same time as I did the personal best stuff as well.
Brilliant. Is there any on-foot races? Do people do that?
Yeah, there's one at the moment. I did one. So you know when you build a settlement and colonization, you get the little container yard with loads of shipping containers all stacked up.
Well, rather embarrassingly, no, Alec, because it's not an area of the gameplay that I've been exposed to, because I came from console. I moved over just before Christmas, and so I haven't, and I've been on Distant Worlds, so no.
It was funny. I think Frontier kind of did that for us, because when Arthur they did a live stream where they introduced colonization, and there was this whole little bit of play between, I think it was Arthur and Bruce, going, these container yards that you put, they look a little bit like a kind of racetrack, don't they, Bruce? So I think Frontier knew exactly what they were doing with those container yards. But yeah, I've done an on-foot race where you basically run along the top of the containers, and you have to jump from one stack of containers to the next and go around the whole container yard on top.
It's like
good,
Elite Dangerous
It's
Mario.
quite amusing because the containers are color coded. So he says jump onto the third blue one, and of course, if it's night and you're in night vision, it's like, oh my god,
They're all green. That's fantastic. I believe there's a Elite Dangerous Climbing Club. Have you heard about that? Have you joined in with
I
that?
shouted them out on leave. I'm going to go and join them when we get back. I think I only found out about them just as Distant Worlds 3 was kicking off. So
This Mount Everest.
Club Neverest, yeah.
yeah,
That's it.
Is
That's
that what
it.
they're called? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And I understand, because I didn't realise, but again, listening to Lave Radio, listening to yourself, Alec, I didn't realise that the terrain had changed with Odyssey.
Don't go there. It's a sore subject.
Is that so? Oh, sorry, but
Yeah,
I was
dramatic-
unaware of it. I didn't realise because I wasn't.
I mean,
particularly-
radically.
or dramatically, both.
Yeah. And galaxy wide. So one of the things was that, we'd already been scouting good racetracks, and not just racetracks, but like base jumping fun places to land a ship on top of a mountain and then jump the SRV off. And so we had loads of lists, and obviously the exploration community had huge lists of POIs, wonderful valleys to go and look at, and mountains, and all of that just went in the bin because they just regenerated the entire galaxy, which was
It's a really strange thing to do, isn't it?
well, I get it, because it's proc gen and they wanted to introduce they wanted to improve the planetary terrain technology. There's like no way of doing that. You're basically throwing out the recipe book and introducing a new recipe book, and so
Starting
the end
again.
result is completely different.
Oop.
That's kind of the nature of proc gen, but it was still a hard pill to swallow. And the difficult thing is that in some ways, only in some ways, mind you, but in some ways the Odyssey terrain isn't as good.
Yeah, I think you were saying on the other stream that I was listening to that the valleys aren't as deep and the mountains aren't as high.
Yeah, but beyond that, there's something I find very hard to put into words and explain. But there was something very organic about the legacy terrain generation. It was clearly using some kind of software algorithm that just sort of organically produced infinite variety in things.
Planets
Whereas-
like Labyrinto or Emerald Peak,
Yeah.
if you remember them.
Whereas Odyssey is using a kind of it's far less obvious now than when Odyssey came out, but it's using stamps. It's got predefined shapes of natural terrain, which it then sort of picks from. So
Okay.
actually, although it looks like there's a lot of variety, really, if you go around an entire planet, it's very samey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the same. And that's really disappointing because, like as well as the racing, I started this thing called the Planetary Circumnavigation Club. So
Yes.
believe it or not, there are folks
Yeah.
who have driven around entire planets.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of us,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And
That's
we
yours.
did an expedition. I did a live expedition, so a bit like DW3. I did a planetary circumnavigation expedition. It
That
lasted
sounds
months.
awesome.
It was great, but what was nice was we had months of scouting. So we picked our planet, and having chosen the planet, we then scouted that planet. And we had all these locations that we gave names to. We had named mountains and valleys and craters, and it was so easy to do because the features were they stood out. They were so
Prominent,
obvious.
yeah.
There was a valley that looked like a cat's face, and so we called it Cat's Face Mountain. There was dozens and dozens and dozens of them. And I wanted to keep it going. People wanted me to do another one, but you just can't do it in Odyssey. Nothing is distinctive. Nothing.
No.
You try and find a planet and find 5 locations you can name. I almost challenge you to do it.
Is it a bit like Milton Keynes?
Yeah. Roundabout 1, roundabout 2, roundabout 3. They're all the same. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Telford's a bit like that as well, weirdly. Telford Town Centre. It's like the what they call it? Oh, so my memory's gone now. My 3 brain cells are concentrating on not spinning around and not crashing and not hitting rocks.
I have a tip for you from watching your stream.
Well, get good. That's the.
No, I would say that you're fairly consistently landing tilted further back than I would. You
Right.
land and I think back wheels, and then you spin out, and I see you do it again and again. So try
Right.
and tilt forward like 2 degrees down from where you would normally. I just feel like you're constantly landing on your back wheels. And
Well,
it makes
on my
it makes me
first-
cringe, and then you
Oh,
spin
thanks.
out. And
Wow. On my first run, I thought. So this is what's happened there, Alec. I can actually explain this. On my first run, I thought that landing on my front wheels was helping me bounce. And then
Yeah.
at the start of this, I asked you, and you
Oh,
said you
dear.
didn't think it made a difference. So I thought I've been trying to lie flat. So I will go back, but I think I was landing before. I think I was landing too steeply pitched forward on my other run,
yeah,
if that makes
it's
sense.
subtle.
But yeah, I think talking and trying to do it's a nightmare. I joke on this stream quite a lot. I've got 3 brain cells, and one of them's occupied talking to the stream. The other one's occupied trying to keep OBS working, and it's just there's not a lot left really, if I'm honest.
I can't even do more than one thing at a time.
I'm sure that's not true. Having seen you race, I'm sure that's not true. What's going to depress me, Commander Greaves, is the fact that you've blown up a buggy, you've had to go restock and start again, and you'll probably still beat me by 28 minutes. That's the,
Want
Oh, I
to see if he
haven't finished
overtakes
it.
you.
Oh, am I?
he probably already has. Ages ago, I would imagine. But the other thing that would have been really funny is if you'd have all crashed and burned and I crossed the finish line and was the only one to finish. that would have been quite nice. Or Razzafrag and myself. Where are you, Razzafrag? You're ahead of me. I know you're ahead of me.
I've just finished, actually.
Oh, I
was
can see.
24 minutes.
You're
I managed to do.
1.6 kilometres ahead of me. So we're kind of consistent. It's like the other one we did together. That was about the same,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
well,
You're about a kilometre ahead of me.
I think I was about 4 kilometers ahead of you at one point. So yeah, but yeah, I've lots of bad bounces for sure.
Magnetic rocks. So I was going to
Yes.
I was going to mention
Yeah.
about the rocks. So my career has been as a canoeing coach, believe it or not, which is a really strange career. Although I've done a million other jobs because it's very seasonal. And we have a thing called magnetic rock. So when you go down a rapid, you should not tell your students, watch out for that rock. Because if as soon as you say, watch out for that rock, it becomes magnetic and everyone heads towards
yes.
it.
Yeah.
Hyper focusing.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Yeah, I think the first time I heard about that was Top Gear, and they were giving tips for their doing the lap or something. But it's so true. Like if there's an obstacle in any kind of motorsport or racing, or it's like focus on where you want to go, not on where you don't want to go. And people tend to do the opposite. People tend to focus on the thing they don't want to hit.
Well, especially if
And
they're
that is
scared.
disastrous.
Yeah, that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
In real life too, I know a lot of
Yeah.
like police officers pulling people over to the side of the road. They get hit more often than you would think because people can't not look at it and they drift into it.
Yeah.
I don't mean to, but
Yeah, totally. It's like the accidents, isn't it? And then everyone slows down to look at the accident.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible. So here's a weird question. VR247, we've established that VR is a thing for you. I'm going to come back to you. But Commander Greaves, do you use VR?
No, but funny enough, well, VR for me is the barrier has mostly been that I don't want to be too isolated in my living room. Like I've got some pets, I've got a fiance walking around. But if I was going to get it, it would definitely be for Elite, and I've been thinking about it for years now. And some days I'm quite close to getting the set, but I haven't done it yet.
The reason I ask that is because when I watch your stream or your videos, the way that you're looking through the top of the cabin struck me that you might be using VR, so you can look up. You're not using an eye tracker or anything like that?
No, it's because I'm playing with mouse and keyboard. So
Okay.
I control the SRV with the keyboard, and I can just look everywhere with the mouse.
Cool. And then for yourself, VR247, I presume you find that quite an advantage using VR in buggy races, particularly. I'm guessing. Does it help?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, I know a lot of these guys will use the head tracking, so they don't have to use the mouse look function,
Yeah.
which is just one more set of controls to manage while you're in the heat of it. And so for me, it's so much more natural to be in SRV flight where you're pointed, you know, as close to 90 degrees downwards as possible while you're thrusting. And, you know, sitting in a chair in my living room, I end up craning my neck upwards to actually just look
to look through the roof.
Slats. Yeah, so events like the Drakir Rally, where I was in there for 2.5 hours, dude, it was a physical challenge for me as well. It was a thing, and I was like, you know, I got a lot of respect for SimStar for his 13-hour run on that.
Get him shaken about.
Yeah, I've been a fan ever since. He's a cool guy too. But anyway, yeah, for me, VR is it absolutely makes a huge difference. Maybe that's because I've been doing it this way for so long. I primarily play with an Xbox controller and a VR headset, and a seated experience, right? So I'm in kind of a swivelly chair.
Yeah, same as me. Yeah, I play on a controller too. Weirdly, that was another question because I'm fascinated by how people play the game. I've got I've got quite a logical reason of why I play on controller. But I'm interested in how other people play. I think, Loish, are you on mouse and keyboard as well?
No. I'm probably one of the weird ones here. I'm playing with keyboard and stick.
That's right. That was it.
Wow.
I can't even imagine how that works, to be honest. But
I mean, I'm controlling all thrusts and everything with the keyboard. And all directional, I'm controlling with the joystick.
Yeah, okay.
And I mean, for me, the advantage is with the keyboard, I can control all different axes, so up, down, left, right, at the same time.
There is no time trial in progress.
Oh yeah, I guess you can't do that with the normal throttle that you get with the stick.
You can't do that with a normal throttle. With a normal throttle, you can go forward and reverse.
Right.
Yeah,
there's
you've
a lot
got some
of
buttons and things on your left hand, but yeah, I can imagine.
Like, I can do
Stick
Q, E, R, F, A, D,
Yep.
V, S. I can easily control all axes, which, yeah. And I'm just used to this. I started playing like this 10 years ago with like a very cheapish joystick on my desk. And now I don't have a cheapish joystick on my desk anymore, but I still like the control scheme.
Refer to directions on the guidance
Cool.
computer.
I think
I was going to ask Alec. You have an eye tracker, right?
Yeah, so I'm HOTAS, and then I've got a track IR, so it's an infrared tracker.
And how does that do the mouse look for you? I'm interested in how that works.
I mean, it just works. So I've got a little thing that's stuck on top of my monitor that's looking at me now, and I wear like a baseball cap to play Elite, and it's got a little bit of metal that clips onto the peak, and it has 3 points that it can track. So basically, when I turn my head to the left, my in-game view goes left and up and down, left and right. And then people go, but hang on, if you turn your head to the left, you're not looking at your screen anymore, which is in front of you. And it sounds a bit odd, but it's all very intuitive because it's kind of an accelerator. So I turn my head maybe 10 degrees to the left, equates to a 90-degree turn in game. So I'm looking literally 90 degrees to my left when I turn my head 10. And you have curves, and I've got a little damping area in the middle, so generally if I'm looking forwards, it doesn't move at all. So you just tune it, and it becomes incredibly natural.
Do you have to configure any of the controls in game to allow it to interface with that, or does it just does it?
You just turn. I can't remember. It just either detects it, or there's an option somewhere in settings to say turn on head tracking, and it just works. And it's the same. Like if you've got a webcam, you can set it up to do head tracking through a webcam. There's some software that will translate that.
Yeah,
it's a game changer. Really, really. possibly even more than getting the HOTAS. Having head tracking is a complete.
I'm thinking of getting one for when I'm not in VR, just because I do a lot of testing in flat screen. So it would be handy.
Are you using the Tracker R5, Alec, by chance?
Yes, yeah.
Ah.
It's not cheap. I don't know about now.
No.
It wasn't cheap.
It is expensive. I remember that. I mean, I also have it. I use it for something else. I use it for flight sims.
Yeah.
Other than Elite, but I have never used it for Elite. Or like I kind of do now because of Greaves, because he gaslight me into it. But
No, actually, I've been seeing footage of people trying to improve on SRV racing, and a lot of people basically don't have any idea where they're flying when they're pointing forward, because they'll just like they don't look through the roof, so they're flying pointed down.
Yeah.
And you just can't predict where you're going to land if you're not seeing where you're going. So
Yeah,
I always
it's
recommend
definitely
people.
a disadvantage, isn't it?
And
It's
that's
a huge game changer, yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why I was asking whether you were running in VR, to be honest, because that's what I noticed, that you were looking through the grill of the roof effectively a lot. And
Yeah,
it helped
and
me
yes.
out after I saw that, because I started doing that even on controller, because I can click and look and all that stuff.
It's funny
Yeah,
because I was watching Lewis's footage of getting into orbit, and he was not looking through his roof at all.
yes,
Possible.
like I'm also for this race. I'm usually not using it because I'm just not used to it. I probably
Right.
should, but I'm too lazy.
And then you have to keep leveling out to see where you're going, and every
Yeah,
time you
yeah.
level out, you're losing speed. 'Cause
Yes,
you're
and
not-
also I'm using like a second monitor, and I usually have something on there. So every time I look over there,
Yeah. Well,
Alec,
sorry.
yes, Alec, by chance, could you send me the your curve that you're using for me?
I thought you were going to ask that. Yeah, I'll dig it
Yeah,
out.
that is the biggest nightmare with Track IR, in my opinion.
Oh, so do you set up like a exponential curve for
Yeah.
its react? Ah, okay.
Yeah. So basically, when I'm looking forwards, when my head is facing my screen, but in the middle, nothing's happening at all. It's like there's like a dead zone. And then if I look a little bit to the left, the game will look a little bit to the left. But if I look more to the left, my head swings. Yeah, there's like a curve on it.
I've yet to try the VR in the racing, just because usually when in fact, to be honest, I've not used VR much on Distant Worlds. I've got VR, and I love it, and I love Elite with it. But I'm usually streaming when I'm doing the racing,
Right?
And I can't. I mean, I know people do stream the VR the VR headset, but it just makes me feel a bit weird. And I daren't try and set anything else up that's complex because I can't cope with what I've got. But
I think it is complex, Lee. You look at someone like Malik, and his whole shtick is like he's got so much stuff to help him do that.
Yeah, it's already quite stressful, quite frankly.
Yeah,
just
you need
doing
like a
normal
PhD
stream.
to run
Yeah.
the rig.
It's crazy. So for you guys then, what's your, when you're not doing racing, right? Because you're all playing Elite, doing other stuff. Razzafrag plays quite a lot, actually. Razzafrag, I didn't realise as much as that. But you guys are all playing Elite, in your own time when you're not on Distant Worlds and you're not racing. So what's your kind of favourite or preferred game style? Do you play in open? Do you play in a PG? Do you play solo? What do you really enjoy doing in Elite, just out of interest?
Should we go down the list?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, what do I do? So colonization. I was really enjoying before Distant Worlds. Although funnily enough, it was colonization with a view to creating a system that was
For racing.
time trial racing. So it comes back to that. I enjoy. I suppose what I don't enjoy is. I don't want to say the grind, but I don't really just enjoy doing the same thing. So like combat's great, for example, and I'll do a bit of bounty hunting, but I just find it gets a bit samey after a while. And so what I really enjoy are like it happens less these days, but I feel like having little adventures that are almost not part of the prescribed gameplay. So for example, when not long after Odyssey came out, none of us really knew how it worked and what you could and couldn't do. And I ended up basically discovering that you could put more than one SRV out, and drive in one and then run back to the other one and jump in the cockpit of the other one and drive the other one. And I can't remember how but I ended up, I think I fell down and died or something. And I ended up with one of my SRVs stuck on top of a mountain.
Right.
And thinking I want to go and get it. And it became like this really interesting
challenge,
maybe half hour. Yeah. Half hour thing of how can I get that other SRV, and that sort of stuff I love. I love it when
you should join the Hull Seals.
Yeah, well, you have lots of another thing, I spent ages trying to get a ship launch fighter inside one of the Thargoid bases, which you can do, and it's but it took me days to figure out how to do it because you need to. That the doors on the Thargoid bases, they'll only open when you've got a Thargoid sensor, so you can literally put one on the ground and prop the door open. So then you can run back to your ship and you can get in your ship launch fighter and fly in through the door.
Right.
I love that sort of stuff. And I sort of wish missions gave you more of that. That missions weren't just go and get 10 of these or go and shoot 10 of those. That they were a little bit more, let's go and have an adventure.
Did you try, have any of you tried, sorry, going off topic now, but did you try Meta Elite, Alec?
Yeah, it was really good. I feel like it's wound down a bit now. It feels like the story is stopped a little bit. But yeah, I love the idea. I thought it was brilliant. And actually, you mentioned that I really enjoyed the stuff the French guys do, the Elite Dangerous website. I think their stuff's fantastic.
Yeah. Fantastic. So crack on down the list then, I guess. Thank you very much. Commander Greaves, you're next on my screen. I guess you're on everyone's screen, I guess. What's your preferred mode of play when you're not racing?
Right, well, I try to dabble in almost everything the game has to offer because I like a bit of variety. I would say the main thing I do besides racing is exploring. That's always kind of been my bread and butter in the game. Getting out there, finding some new systems, finding some wacky Stellar Forge creations, and then driving the SRV around on planets and just faffing about with exobiology. It's always been fun for me. And then when I'm back in the bubble, I like to do those station restoration missions where you have to get a core, land at a station, shoot some mercenaries, and then restart the station and put the fires out. For some reason, that's really clicked for me too.
Okay.
I don't know, gathering materials and all that.
Again, that's not a bit of gameplay I've played. Oh.
What was that?
Oh, that was a little bit.
And you can actually make ungodly amounts of credits doing it because I tend to gather a lot of materials that can be quite rare.
Yeah.
And people want to upgrade their suits and guns for engineering. And people can't often be bothered to go and get the materials themselves, so you can collect those and put them for sale on your carrier for maximum amount of profits, which is like times 100 or something. And people buy it instantly. You make insane amount of credits that way. It's pretty funny.
I didn't even know that was the thing.
Yeah.
Commander Razzafrag, I think we've had this conversation, but maybe other people don't want to go back and see the previous stream. It's bad enough.
So because I play 6 times a week, we tend to switch it up a bit. I mean, our favourite is doing pirate massacre missions, because we can stack them up between us and do them, and you make some money, and it's all very active. And the weapons we use, we like the fixed weapons because then there's a skill in that instead of just hitting the laser button and waiting for the other ship to get shredded. So we like using plasmas and things like that. We've actually got to anticipate where the ship's going to be and then shoot them. So that's always fun to us, is doing the massacres. But we switch it up. This week we're doing exobiology exploration out in the middle of nowhere at the moment. Yeah, so we try a bit of everything, and then we'll have a week where we do mining, and then we'll just go on a long expedition just for the sake of it, which we did recently when we got the Caspians. We're just trying different things out, basically. Yeah.
Fantastic. Commander VR247.
Yes. So, similar to everybody else, I like to try and work in variety to the game, despite the fact that it's just been a complete onslaught of racing and racing related activity for the last 6 months for me. But I've got a colony that I'm managing. I've got an alt that has been managing a BGS war in my colony while we've been on DW3, and I just finished my goal, which involved winning something like 11 wars or something like that.
Wow.
Maybe it was 8 or 9 to get final control over the Kawasaki Town settlement, wrestled away from this democracy and into the hands of the mafia for the sole purpose of preventing that settlement from giving us bounties and fines when you violate their airspace. Because I have a race that runs right over their airspace, and ever since the update that FDev put out in like right around Thanksgiving, I don't know what they did, but basically the settlement is super vigilant, and if you're over their airspace for like 5 seconds, you're wanted.
Wow.
So then, of course, if you crash into the wall in the race below, then you get sent to prison, which almost ends your racing day. It's pretty bad setback. So I have spent months making sure that my commanders will not be going to jail for racing.
Wow.
So I've learned BGS in the process a little bit too. I never engaged with trying to manipulate a system over the long term through missions and activities. So that's been kind of a learning curve, and that's pretty cool. It's just another way that organically Elite has taught me to teach myself how to play their game.
And
So that's been enlightening and enjoyable.
have you done that solo, or have you done that with a squadron, or?
All solo.
Wow. Okay.
So I employed a little trick I kind of figured out along the way that with my alt and playing on 2 computers in the same room with 2 different Xbox controllers, I could sit here and basically send one Panther Clipper after the next
Okay.
down to do supply runs. So I was basically, I could basically do 2,600 tons in a run between the 2 of them.
That's madness.
Yeah, so that was a much more efficient way of knocking out some of the colonization work.
Wow.
And I still have room for 1 or 2 more things to build. So I'm thinking maybe an ice asteroid base, and ultimately probably trying to tackle a forever project and a planetary port.
Wow.
It's really funny you say that, VR2, because I had exactly the same experience of never really dabbling in the BGS. I understood it. I suppose I'd done a little bit of BGS work for other groups, but never really got into it. And I had exactly the same thing, but for different reasons, where the system where I was building my time trials, my colonization system, there's a faction called the Race Marshals, which are directly connected with the Buckyball Racing Club, actually. And I wanted them to be in control of the station where the Drakir Rally was going to start and finish. And so, yeah, I did exactly the same thing and thought, okay, I need to learn what this BGS thing is, and basically manipulated it solo with a bit of advice from some people to get both of those stations into the name of the Race Marshals, which, yeah, it's cool. It's a good
I love that
experience.
the motivation for both of you to do that was racing.
Yep, it all comes back to racing. Yep.
The thing is, like, this is slightly my issue with the game, but like, numbers don't interest me. And racing feels real. Like, I can believe in this galaxy. It's really solid. The simulation of the galaxy
Yeah.
and the simulation
Yeah.
of the flight model. It's all really solid, but I need a reason. I need something to believe in. I need a reason for my commander to do stuff, and numbers aren't enough. And, like, racing is, in some sense, a very real thing. And the idea that my character's a racer and he's building a system for races to take place, and he wants the race marshals in charge, I can get behind that. That's a real reason to do something for me.
I love
It
that.
wraps a story around why you're doing it, yeah.
Yeah.
So you are quite keen and happy to create your own stories in Elite Dangerous, because I know that there are other channels who suggest that that's a weakness of Elite, whereas I've always felt that actually it's a bit of a strength that you don't have a story to follow.
It's both. It's definitely both.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it is a sandbox. I mean, there are stories like the Thargoid War. They're sort of few and far between in a way, but yeah, it's Everyone says that, the game basically says, okay, you've done the tutorial, here's your ship, here's 1,000 credits, off you go. And people go, what do you mean off you go? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it's an empty page. You can write whatever you want.
I mean, that's what I enjoy about it. And I, over the last kind of 14 months, I write training courses. And I had to write a training course last year about ADHD. And I found it really interesting because I suddenly realised that that's why my life has been what it has been, and my life's been a little bit impulsive, to say the least. And the nice thing about Elite Dangerous is that if you're a bit ADHD or a bit neuro spicy, it's brilliant. Well, you can go off and do, oh look, a shiny thing, and off you go, and you go and do the shiny thing. It's a dopamine hit when you engineer a ship. It's a dopamine hit when you get a new ship. It's really interesting like that for me. I've become very fascinated by that aspect of it. Whoops. Ooh, sorry.
So just to touch on this a little bit, and to maybe put this out as a question for everybody, do you all have an elite sheet, like a list of things that you want to get done next, or goals that you have, a place where you track all your progress in certain areas of the game and put ideas and stuff like that? Do you guys all do that too?
What you're saying there is that you might be on the spectrum.
I'm very sorry, VR. I have to disappoint you. I sadly don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have a to-do list on my iPad. It's just a note, in the Notes app. But it's huge. It's just a great long checklist, and I just tick things
But
off.
what I have open is basically maybe 50 Coriolis tabs open with different kinds of ships that I'm trying to figure out what I can do with them.
Yes.
So in that part, I'm with you.
I find that ship engineering.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go on, Greaves.
I don't actually have a physical to-do list, but I do have a lot of things that I still want to do in my head in Elite. I just kind of pick one when I log in and do it.
Yeah, it's funny. I have this sheet that I keep, and it's funny how much I play the game while not playing the game. But I plan for playing the game, and I get on Discord, and I hear what everybody else is doing. I listen to the racers and see where they're going, and trying to squeeze it all in and add the things that I want to do as well. And so, yeah, I've got a spreadsheet with 10 tabs, dude. I got everything on there.
I think Lewis still had to have a go on what he does outside of racing.
Oh, have we missed you, Lois? So sorry.
I think you did. But, I mean, what do I mean, like most of the others, I don't do one specific thing. I also dabble in everything, like building ships, doing mining, bounty hunting, trading, or going on small expedition tours where I'm saying oh, I'm just gonna get in my carrier, fuel it up with tritium, and see how low I can go to the galaxy and try to find a system where no one has ever been. That's what I did 1 year ago. I went on woke up on a Friday, on a Friday morning, and was like, what are you gonna do today?
I do love the fact that you get your commander name on a first discovery. I still think that's one of the nicest things in Elite.
I mean, other than that, when I see people, what I do a lot, what I have been doing in the last 10 years is helping people in the game. If I see anyone struggling, or I see someone who doesn't have the Guardian frameshift drive, I'm like, do you know this exists? Here, let me help you. Or help people getting more into the game, the amount of people that don't know that Inara exists, for example.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Elite doesn't have a tutorial, but the community
is the
kind
tutorial.
of the tutorial.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people I've helped over the years, but it is too many.
There's never too many. That's altruism.
But that's part of the game. That's exactly what you said earlier. It's Elite doesn't have a story. You are the story. You write your own book.
Yeah, and I think that's a great segue to Distant Worlds again as well, because I remember I signed up to Distant Worlds 3, I think about a year before it started, because they were playing it for a long time. And I read stories, because I was aware of the first Distant Worlds, and I wasn't really playing during the second one. But I was reading stories about the second one while I was getting ready for the third, and everybody, like the main thing people always say is like all the friends they made along the way and the community, and great. And that's really, I think, the strength of a league is if you put a bunch of people together in it and give them some kind of common goal, then it's just amazing. Like people will just bond over it.
Yeah, it's like who in here is a DV2 veteran? Out of curiosity.
I think it's just you.
What?
I started it.
So yeah.
I was just going to say I had too much FOMO with the other two. I was aware of both the other two and around, but it's just like there's too much going on.
I mean, from the Distant Worlds 2, I have to admit, when I hear Distant Worlds 3 is gonna happen, I had hopes for it to happen, but I was more or less like, I wasn't expecting it to be able to be a Distant Worlds expedition again, because of a lot of stuff that happened in Elite, and also the identity of the Distant Worlds. But surprisingly, the community has gotten large enough that there's a lot of people back. I thought it's only gonna be a small tour with only a couple of people, but it has gotten surprisingly large. And it still feels awesome. You can have such awesome community times, which you could never have had in Distant Worlds 2. Distant Worlds 2 was you lose an SRV, you lost the SRV.
Yeah.
It's gone, forever.
It's gone forever. A friend of mine died on the first waypoint, or on the second waypoint. The View. The View is a planet with 4 Gs.
Yeah.
Near a neutron star that killed dozens of commanders.
That's
How many
it.
of them
No
never
SRV.
went back out?
They died with their ships. He had a completely fitted ship, exploded, crashed on the planet.
Commander Greaves, Master, Lawless,
So it's just spawned back in the bubble, basically.
Bounty.
He spawned back in the bubble. There was
Oh my
no
God,
carrier. You have to imagine the old Distant Worlds was, you go out 45,000 light years, and if you die, you land in the bubble.
Commander VR247.
Yeah, that's some serious risk.
Bounty is 0.
I mean, this is gone. That's the one part I'm kind of a bit sad, but what we got for that is we got to have stuff like the Oasis. That could have never happened.
Yeah.
And I think it's a pretty decent trade-in,
Unmanned Commander
admittedly.
VR247.
It's a decent trade-in.
Lawless, Caspian Explorer.
Yeah, and I think it
Bounty
speaks
is
a little bit to why they created Odyssey. It wasn't just to make a first-person shooter and stick it in the game, but really I think it really, for me, it kind of anchors the fact that you are your commander and you can interact with the world. And it just opened so many doors. Now you could ride on the carriers together like it's a cruise ship and hang out in the bar while you go through the jumps and then all leave for your ships at the same time. I'm hoping Operations is going to be a lot of that same kind of thing. Just open the door for more shenanigans.
That's a perfect segue. Do you want a job, Commander VR247? You're just built for this. The little show notes that I have say future dreams for Elite, thoughts about operations. I mean, you can write that. That's brilliant. So you've done it, Commander 24/7. So what are your thoughts about operations, and what are your future hopes and dreams for Elite?
I'm really quite excited for operations while also trying to keep my expectations fairly in check.
A wise man.
Yes, expectation management is key. And I'm cool with them delaying it a little bit longer so they can polish it up or add a few more types for us to get into in the long run. But I'm very excited about it. I think that given where FDev is with kind of the skeleton crew that they've got maintaining Elite, and it's probably been a business decision. Look, this game's doing all right. It's got this revenue. We can just kind of keep it on a little more than maintenance mode and dedicate a smaller team to the development stuff. We'll keep adding to it. And I think they're doing a pretty good job, whatever they're doing. I think we've got good things to come. I think that the camaraderie and the community that we've found through racing and Distant Worlds 3 in particular is going to carry on, and we're going to have a lot more teammates and people that'll be able to join us on random Saturday operations or whatever it might be. And for what it's worth, I'm kind of excited to see what environments they build, since they don't have to be tethered to the existing galaxy that we've got here. You know, they can safely sort of build these things in pockets, without disrupting everything else. So they can give us stuff that we don't otherwise have, and maybe it's Earth-like conditions where we're running around, or something small like that. I don't know how big these instances can get, but very excited to check it out when it happens.
Cool, thank you. Distant Worlds has shown that the instances can be pretty big. I think some of those mass jumps. What was the record attempt they went for? What did that end up at?
154.
There you go. Not bad for technology that's 12 years old and runs off everybody's peer-to-peer server.
Pretty flaky though, aren't they? I haven't done the mass jumps, but I think they're pretty flaky.
They're a little bit on and off, aren't they, I think? So how about you, Mr. Turner? What are your hopes and dreams for operations, and thoughts about something you'd like in Elite in the future?
Well, I think I've done what I'd like. I mean, setting my targets realistic. Yeah, time slider, so we can identify day-night would be lovely.
See, you surprised me there. I thought you'd go for the ship deployable, SRV deployable, on-foot deployable marker boys.
Do you know, it's funny. Like this comes up a lot. You know, Frontier doing racing.
No, I don't think they should. But
No,
I think
I'm not
we
sure
should
they
have
should.
the ability to put visual marker boys down.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Visual would be amazing. I mean, I think if we had learned anything here, particularly from the ship races on DW3, God, if you could see the gate, how much
it'd be so helpful.
It would be amazing. So yeah, sure, why not visible gates? Operations is interesting. I'm not big on the on-foot side of Elite. It's all right. And I watch people like Commander Exodus do it, and I think that ought to be fun. He makes that look like a lot of fun. But I think getting there is quite hard, getting the right gear and getting the right skills. And so what bothers me about operations, and I've said this a lot on Lave, is when they first spoke about it, they talked about things like mining, and they gave this hint of like sphere of combat that there'd be ship and SRV and on foot, and they've only so far shown more and more and more on foot. It just looks like Unreal Tournament to me.
Well,
I just think I don't want that. I'm not interested in that. That's not Elite.
Can I divulge my greatest fear?
Yeah.
And this is not a criticism of FDev, because I think, you know, I love the game. I'm grateful for the game. I'm getting so much enjoyment out of the community and everything else. I don't really want it to be ruined or anything. But my greatest fear is that it's 2002 Halo with a worse waiting room for matchmaking. Because they've got a waiting room for matchmaking already in CQC, and CQC is brilliant, fantastic, unique, nothing like it on the face of the planet, but it doesn't work because of the matchmaking. So my greatest fear is that, to be honest with you, which sounds really negative, and I'm not a negative person, but that's my greatest fear.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty down about operations, so we'll see. It can only. What's the opposite of disappoint? I can only be pleasantly surprised at the moment.
Again, managing expectations.
Yeah, very much. Hey, look, guys, I need to run actually. So
that's cool. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so grateful. You are an absolute legend in Elite Dangerous, and I was very honoured and shocked and surprised that you'd agreed to come on and chat to us.
Shucks and all that. No, thanks for pulling us all together. Actually, we've all been sort of chatting in Discord, but it's nice to get and actually talk together. So yeah, thanks for pulling it.
Been fantastic. Thank you so much, Alec. Take care. Fly safe.
Have fun. See you on the leaderboards.
Yeah. I'm at the bottom. Season's fine.
Right. The only way is up.
Yeah.
Bye.
Take care. Good night. How about Commander Razzafrag? We've not spoken to you about this. So, what are your hopes, aspirations, thoughts on operations? What are you thinking about that?
I haven't really taken much interest in operations to date to see what's actually going to be in it. I mean, I heard that they were going to do some more on-foot combat stuff in like fleet carriers or mega ships, and I thought, oh, that would be awesome. I was hoping it was going to be a bit more sort of zero-G combat than just the way the grenade bounces.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that we'd be able to have, sort of space battles on the hull of the ship, floating above other players and, fighting that way, which I hope they get to one day. It would be nice, because zero-G with magnetic boots isn't zero-G combat.
No.
That's just, so I think it'd be nice to see them do something like that.
And the odd thing with that is they've already got the physics model, really.
Yeah.
Which is strange,
exactly.
isn't it? That's the bit that confuses me about that. Why haven't they done it? They've got the physics model.
Yeah. My wish list, I think the visual markers would be excellent. I mentioned before, if we could customize the layouts of our settlement so we could place ramps and roads, so we could make racetracks there as well, for example. That would be very nice. Because when they first put them in, they said, "Oh yeah, you can you can change the layout of your settlement," but it just became a template basically.
Yeah.
And you got what was given. Whereas if we could actually deploy extra ramps and radar dishes and whatever else around the terrain, would make it quite interesting and a bit more unique.
Definitely.
Yeah. I have a big long list of things I wish that they would do. But like anything, it's okay. Let's see what the next release is going to be, and make the most of it. I'm looking forward to some of the new mission types, because that will probably add some more variety to things.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of just wait and see guy, really.
Do you think that they're because obviously the roadmap for this year, there's what did they say, a change to a major function of something that's been in the game for a long time?
Yeah, I'm not even going to hazard a guess what that is.
No.
I'd like to see them add more. I'd like some liquid in the game.
I would like that.
Would be nice.
I would really like that. I would really like that.
Started.
Yeah, no, I'd like that, and I'd like it if we could fly into it. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, or drive into it.
Yeah, underwater racing. That's the future.
Just getting your SRV on a lake like a pebble.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a vessel. It's a vessel.
It would be awesome, but it would break everything again.
Well, that's not very optimistic at all, Loish. But so, Loish, seeing as you've pitched in there, what are your thoughts, hopes, and dreams, and fears, maybe?
So no, for the newest expansion they're working on, I think the break or make or break will be how they implement it into the current game. For example, they say it's separated, but how can you join? For example, if you're in a private group, can you only play with people in the private group? Or if you are, can you play with everyone in no matter what group you're in? I'm pretty sure what the missions itself will be awesome. The question is how they are implementing it, so you get the amount of people working together. That I think is gonna be the make or break it of the next thing. In my eyes, that is gonna be the make or break.
I think you're right, and that's the and that's where my fear comes from, is because CQC, like I say, CQC is kind of that.
It's
really,
a nightmare.
isn't it? Yeah, and it's so great.
It's a nightmare. Yeah.
If you can actually get a game, it's amazing. But you can't get a game, so no one plays it, which is a bit sad, really.
And with the major rework, having played through the time they changed the planetary generation system.
Yeah.
What I think Alex mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, he did.
It is a nightmare. I remember places that don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember awesome places like The View, Emerald Peak, Labyrinto. I can't name a lot of memorable places like that in Odyssey because they don't exist anymore. And Odyssey has taken away those very... There isn't a planet with one ginormous hill anymore. There's a lot of planets with large hills. So, that would be interesting if they rework it, but it will also basically wipe the entire current PoE floor clean.
Yeah. Again.
Again, which would be a pretty big hit for the entire... as plain as it currently is, at least it existed now for a couple of years, so there's a database of interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And wiping that clean would do irreparable damage. A thing what could use some rework is ship-to-ship combat, like bounty hunting, like combat in general.
Oh, really?
It hasn't changed since the game started.
But isn't that because it's damn near perfect?
It's good, yes. But, like, I mean, the mission system in general.
Yeah, I suppose the ship-to-ship combat at the moment, because the new ships are a bit overpowered. I suppose there's a bit of a call to have the new ships as NPCs in the galaxy.
I mean, currently feels a bit of a power creep. Like
yeah.
For sure, and I think that was kind of needed. I mean, not necessarily needed, but I don't know if it would have the same attraction to players to spend some money on the game again if it was like, it's basically just the same thing, just remixed. You know, I think, and I do like that they're giving us role ships. You know, we got at the Type 11, we got the Caspian, we got all these ships. We've got a medium passenger liner that everybody was saying needed to exist for all these years. They finally put that out, or they will next week.
For free?
Yeah,
for free?
Right?
Yeah.
What on earth? I mean, I was in shock. But of course, we won't be anywhere near it. You won't be able to get it because you'll be on distant worlds.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like,
I mean, we aren't that far away from that.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Last week, literally, I went to the Sagae, Colonia, back here to distant worlds, and the Caspian. You can do it pretty quickly. The galaxy got a lot smaller.
Very much so.
The Caspian alone has managed to shrink the galaxy
It has,
down to
totally.
3 hours.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a shocker.
Has become tiny.
So Commander Greaves, what would be your thoughts on operations and wishes and wants, I guess, for Elite?
Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about operations, probably because I don't really have any expectations for Elite. Like, I feel like anything we get at this point is a bonus.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to try it out, and hopefully it'll be nice. One of the missions, particularly the rescue missions in the burning stations, I never got to try those when the Thargoids were invading.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually looking forward to that, to trying that out.
Well, I suppose that's the
And
other
then,
thing, isn't we've got a story, haven't we, going on at the moment with the Radicoidia pods and some fitness thing and a bunch of hippie gel. I don't know what the hell's going on, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually did fight in that war for a few weeks, pretty heavily, to try and get control for power play for that system.
Oh, was that the one where they sent the email at the end of it? You're pathetic.
Said,
You're pathetic.
yeah.
You haven't done well. Go away.
Well, I was fighting for Arissa, so I got a positive email.
Oh,
Yeah, me too.
What did that say?
Basically,
job.
just a general. Good job. Like, we did it.
Wow, because honestly, when I got that message in game, I was devastated. I'm traumatized by it.
Yeah, it was quite scolding you got.
The funniest thing about that was, do you remember that? I can't remember which waypoint it was, but there was a waypoint where the server went down on a Saturday, and everyone was a bit upset because they couldn't get on the game, and there was a story about hacking going on the server and all that kind of stuff. But the thing that made me laugh the most was on the Facebook community, Elite Dangerous community, someone had written the same email that we got for failing in that mission to FDev.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought it was so funny. It was just so funny. It was so tongue in cheek and brilliant. Do you have any thoughts about what you'd like to see in Elite? Features or anything like that?
Yeah, my biggest dream for Elite, and this is probably something that's never going to be added, but it would be proper atmospheric planets, like you said, water, lush forests, that kind of thing. I do think it's way too late for that, and the game probably just doesn't make enough money to warrant another overhaul of planets, because that would probably be required to add that kind of thing. But yeah, especially just because of racing, because can you imagine building races in forests and through deserts and lakes and all that? It would be amazing.
Well, ship-launched fighters through a forest would feel like the speeder bikes in Star Wars, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You'd have to have little teddy bears though, because otherwise it wouldn't be right.
Maybe we'll get a speeder bike as one of the vehicles this year. You
A
never
vessel,
know. They
a
did say
vessel.
vehicles.
Yeah, I did make a post on the forums requesting a dirt bike as the new
Yeah.
SRV, because that would be quite fun.
That would be very good. Yeah.
Commander Razzafrag,
E-bikes.
what's your wishes, I suppose? Because
you asked me already.
Oh, I've done you already. Good grief, I'm knackered.
Yeah, you did.
This is what happens here. You go space crazy. This is what happens. I've done too many miles in space. There you go.
Just out of interest, has anyone here done any passenger missions before? Because I've done very few. So this new passenger ship is like, other than doing the rescue the burning station, I've never actually taken a passenger anywhere they want to go.
Oh, I've done it, but it's really annoying. So what happens? In fact, actually, one of my biggest bugbears with Elite isn't perhaps the same as everyone else's. It's around passenger missions. So you look at the mission, right, on the mission board, and you go, oh, there's passenger mission. That's not too bad. And you go to the galaxy map, and you look where it is, and you go, yeah, I can do that in about half an hour. And then you set off, and then 20 minutes before the end of the mission, you think you can do it in an hour, they start saying, oh, I want to go here, and I want to go here, and I want to go here, and you just lose a day.
I'd be sticking them in one of those escape pods.
There's not the option. All you can do is abandon the mission, but you don't get to throw them out. I would like that. Maybe that's a feature I would like, actually, being able to
throw a passenger in an airlock. That's the thing I want.
Or read them poetry.
Oh God. I'll be into that.
Well, folks, I think thank you so much for tonight. I'm really stoked that you come to my little old channel. It's a tiny little channel. I don't have a lot of viewers, but it's been so much fun chatting with you guys. And I follow on with your racing and everything that's going on, and I'm sure many people do, and it's just been fantastic to have you on the stream. Thank you so much for all your input. I will have to wrap it up because, as usual, after 2 hours I need a wee. But thank you so much, Commanders. Wherever you end up in the galaxy, I hope fortune favours you. And for the YouTube viewers, I'm going to say so long and thanks for all the fish. Good night. 07